Hello everyone! Thank you for tuning in to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. In today's video, we will be going through which test kits to use in which circumstances. This video should be helpful for anyone who does not know when to use various testing kits and anyone whose aquarium is struggling with growth speed of water plants, or anyone who would like to know how to find out the best timing to start adding fishes to their aquariums or the best time for water change. We've actually received quite a lot of questions regarding how to check the quality of your water, especially questions spawning from there being too many types of testing kits and it being difficult to figure out which testing kits are necessary for which types of situations, as well as which kits are the most essential. So today, we will break down examples of which testing kits are required for which situation in detail. We will briefly skim through details and technicalities on the quality of water itself, as it will take too much time, and we will try to keep this video as simple as possible, so please make sure to stay tuned until the very end. As you may know, there are various types of water quality testing kits such as NO2, TH, GH, pH, and they are also made by various manufacturers, and it is very understandable that customers may easily get confused. So today, we will give 3 examples of situations where your water quality would need to be tested, along with the correct testing kit that applies for each situation. The first is right after the completion of your layout, the second is when you have an abundance of algae, and the third is if your water plants are not growing healthily. So starting with the first situation, which is right after the completion of your layout, the first thing to test is NO2. Technically, it would also be helpful to test the level of ammonia, but NO2 would definitely be more important. The reason why you need to carefully observe your NO2 level is because, as you may know, the timing to add fishes and shrimps is a bit difficult, as adding them too early will kill them. Observing the NO2 level is a good way to find out whether or not your aquarium is ready to accept live animals, as it will tell you if the amount of bacteria inside your aquarium is stable or not. So basically, the right timing to insert fishes and shrimps to your aquarium is when NO2 or nitrous acid has disappeared. Ammonia is also one of the substances that appears at around the same timing, but if I were to choose one, NO2 would definitely be more important and accurate. One point to note is that NO2 does not appear right after your layout is complete, and you should wait about 10 days after building everything out and turning your filter on. If you test the NO2 level and there seems to be a certain amount of nitrous acid, it means that your water is not stable just yet, and you should wait another 2 or 3 days and then repeat the same test. If you see that the NO2 level decreased, this is a sign that the bacteria are steadily growing inside your aquarium and the water is gradually stabilizing, and the goal is to repeat this until your NO2 level reaches 0, where fishes and shrimp can healthily live inside your aquarium. Of course, it is extremely sad if your live animals die very early because you installed them too early. So this NO2 test should be a very helpful guideline and could prevent you from guessing the timing. Moving on to the second situation, which is when you have an abundance of algae inside your aquarium. The premise is that there are a lot of complex factors and causes of excess algae, so if you are actually having quite a bit of trouble already, please take a look at the Algae Prevention Methods series that we created in the past, which I will leave links in the description below. So with that said, testing kits NO3, PO4, and COD could serve as guidelines and could help you find or pinpoint the cause of your excess algae. However, as I said earlier, algae can form due to a wide variety of causes and conditions, so if the 3 testing kits do not help, the next step would be to take a look at the Algae Prevention Method series. NO3, as some of you may know, is nitrate, and the abundance of nitrate can cause algae to form. So if your water has a high NO3 level, it is definitely time to change your water. Next, PO4 or phosphate is also the same, where an abundance of phosphate can trigger algae to form. This applies especially to water that is relatively hard, which can also accelerate the growth of algae. So it would also be time to change your water if the PO4 level is high. However, it is also possible for water with a low or zero PO4 level to have excess algae forming inside, so please keep in mind that this test could or could not help you pinpoint the cause, but at least we can get one potential cause out of the way. COD visualizes how dirty your water is, but please also note that a high COD level does not necessarily mean your water is in bad condition. An abundance of fertilizers and other factors can cause clean water to have a high COD level, so I wouldn't automatically say that high COD equals water change, but this could be also a good clue after testing various causes. So, for example, if you test COD, NO3, and PO4 at once and all 3 turn out to be pretty high, it is definitely time to change your water as soon as possible. However, if you are already constantly changing your water once or twice a week, there would be a very low chance of these levels being high in the first place. So if there's still a lot of algae forming inside your aquarium, you need to look into other causes. Also, as you get used to maintaining your layout, you will start to have a grasp of what kind of condition your water is in just through observation. But for beginners, it would definitely help to test and see the actual condition of your water. The third situation, when your water plants are not growing healthily, the 2 testing kits to implement are pH-GH and TH. As mentioned during the previous algae situation, the growth speed of your water plants is also something that can be caused by various conditions and would definitely depend on your layout. So you may not be able to pinpoint the cause and its prevention methods by just these tests. However, this has also helped quite a lot of our customers figure out the correct causes and solutions to get their plants to grow healthily again, so it is definitely an important test to perform. This does depend, and there are outliers, but 80 or 90% of all water plants like to grow in a low acidic, low pH level water. So if your pH or GH-TH level is high, there's a high chance that your water plants will struggle to live healthily and could eventually lead to algae forming inside your tank. Thus, pH-GH is a good test to perform in order to prevent this cycle from happening. One thing that I often hear from customers is that there's a good amount of people who test the pH level on a consistent basis but rarely perform GH-TH tests. I personally think this should be the opposite, and knowing the GH-TH level is much more important than the pH. pH levels are actually very easy to stabilize, especially if you have a good amount of soil and your CO2 is up and running. And if the water is still alkalic, then there could be a problem with your tap water. So it is rare for pH level to exceed 7 or 7.1 or 2, so I would personally put more focus on the GH-TH test in order to help find the exact cause of your water plant slowing down. If your GHTH is too high, it is definitely not a good sign, and your water plants can easily deteriorate. There are some plants that do prefer high GHTH, but that is very rare, and for most water plants, it's definitely the lower the better. For example, if your water plants were growing rapidly right after you completed the layout, but you started to see them slow down gradually, it would be a good idea to test your GHTH. Soil does have the function of lowering GHTH, but that function also deteriorates over time. So if you have layout materials such as stones that raise the GHTH level, this could cause your water plants to stop growing healthily, as the functionalities of preventing the raise will begin to slow down at a certain time. Reddish plants or South American plants especially do not like being in high GHTH water, and if you leave them in there for too long, the plants could even lose their color. As mentioned in the beginning, there are so many types of testing kits available today, and explaining each one of them would be too long and too boring. But realistic situations where certain tests could come in useful could be a good thing to keep in mind, not to directly solve the issue, but more to help figure out the causes of each situation. I will leave links to each testing kit as well as the various videos and video series that we went through today, so please take a look from the description below when you have time. Today, we went through checking your water quality, but water quality is very complex and not everything appears in test results, and the solutions mentioned could potentially not work depending on your layout and your aquarium. I've mentioned this in almost every video, but the best solution for all aquariums is to maintain the health of your water plants by providing a healthy environment for them to grow in, provide the correct amount of nutrients, and maintain a steady growth. Healthy water plants leads to transparent water, less algae, healthy fishes and shrimp, and it is essential to creating that healthy cycle for everything inside your aquarium to prosper. The most essential factor is obviously having a good amount of filtering bacteria inside your aquarium, and that directly correlates to the health of your water. I've also created several videos in the past where I go in detail on filtering bacteria. To conclude, I realized once again that aquariums are the ultimate, most analog hobby. Of course, as technology develops, we could be able to perform various tests more easily and digitally, but it ultimately comes down to observing your water plants, finding issues, and testing various ways to solve these issues until you find the right one, and just keep repeating the same steps through trial and error. And inevitably, your observation skills also increases, and you are able to notice more and more things that you couldn't before. The fundamentals are the most important, just like any other sport, so please make sure to not skip any steps and continue to hone your skills. If you found today's video helpful, please leave a comment, like, and make sure to subscribe to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. We will continue to create helpful content, not just explanation videos where I talk the whole time, but more content like this episode where we actually explain various realistic situations together, so your continuous support would be very much appreciated. That's it for today. Thank you!